Hey there, Rappies. Rapper9198 here, and welcome to another edition of Ryan's Day Reading. This Ryan's Day Reading, again, is another special one, and actually, probably over the next few months, I'll be doing... I want to make these ones a very special Ryan's Day Reading because there's these 3 different books that I have, and these are all written by and are about the same people. So I want to talk a little bit about these books here because these stories are all by these 2 guys. They're best friends their whole lives. I hope they're okay with me using their names, but these are actually 2 guys that came to my college. Patrick Gray and Justin Skisuk. And so this is one of their books called I'll Push You: A Journey of 500 Miles, 2 Best Friends, and 1 Wheelchair. And so this is a very inspiring story, and this is why I want to make this. I want to make Ryan's Day Reading special for these ones because I'm gonna be doing. I'll make a separate playlist for these books specifically, but I'll also post them to my regular Ryan's Day Reading playlist as well. But I wanted to make a special playlist devoted to these books. But here, on the back of this book, I'll Push You, here it says, meet Justin and Patrick. Born in the same hospital, 2 days apart, they grew up together, faced life shoulder to shoulder, and were best man at each other's weddings. It was the way things had always been. It was the way things were always going to be. But then the unexpected struck. Justin was diagnosed with a progressive neuromuscular disease that robbed him of the use of his arms and legs. As Justin transitioned to life lived in a wheelchair, Patrick stayed by his side, and together they refused to give in to despair or physical limitations. So when Justin shared his dream of traveling the famous Camino de Santiago, a spiritual pilgrimage through the mountains and rough terrain of northern Spain, Patrick immediately volunteered to push Justin in his wheelchair. Their 6-week, 500-mile trek, with its physical challenges, host of colorful characters, and deep inner battles, would prove to be the most difficult and important journey either man would ever take. Full of love, humor, and faith, I'll Push You exemplifies what every friendship is meant to be. This epic travel adventure shows the incredible risk and reward that come with trusting someone else to have your back, no matter what. Discover how friendship can push us past all limits and help us become the best versions of ourselves. So I think their story is a very inspiring one, and there are these 3 different books that they have written. This is, I'll Push You this is by them. And then there's also this other one that they wrote called Imprints: The Evidence Our Lives Leave Behind. And then there's also this children's one called The Push. And so to start off, I'm going to read this one because I can do this one in just one video. But then afterwards, then I'll get to these ones here. So for today's Ryan's Day Reading, I'm going to read The Push, a story of friendship. And so in this story, just the names are changed to John and Marcus. So this heartwarming story about the bond between John and Marcus. Here. Okay. Yep. This heartwarming story about the bond between John and Marcus will teach kids that authentic relationships are not limited to those who are just like us. The boys discovered that their differences create opportunities for a deep, meaningful, and lasting friendship. Yeah. All right, so here we go with The Push, written by Patrick Gray and illustrated by Justin Skisuk and Matt Wersack. Yep. So let me adjust the camera a little bit on my phone. So, in an ordinary town, in an ordinary house, there lived a boy named John. John slept in a bed like everyone else. He ate food like everyone else. He loved to play like everyone else. But he was different from the other kids in town. Yeah. When John was born, his arms and legs didn't work. He couldn't do all the things his friends could do. He couldn't dress himself. He couldn't brush his teeth. He couldn't tie his shoes. He couldn't walk. When he wasn't sleeping, he was usually in his wheelchair. But there were some things John wasn't expert at. He could give any statistic about the Boston Red Sox since they got their nickname in 1908. He could make people laugh until milk came squirting out of their noses, and he could solve the most complicated math problems in his head. Yeah. One summer, just before school started, John saw a moving truck at the house next door. "Would you please wheel me outside so I can see the new neighbors?" John asked his mom. As his mom parked him at the end of the driveway, John saw a boy carrying a box. He was wearing a Red Sox hat. 2004, John shouted. The boy turned around. 6th World Series title. An 11th American League pennant, John replied. The boy walked over to John. "My name is Marcus." When Marcus stuck out his hand, John said with a smile, "My hands don't work." "That's okay," Marcus said, lifting John's hand. "How about this? That will be our handshake," John said. In no time, Marcus and John were best friends. They were in the same class at school. When John wasn't helping Marcus with his math homework, they watched baseball games together or played chess. Marcus moved John's pieces for him, but John almost always won. Sometimes they explored the neighborhood, with Marcus skateboarding behind John's wheelchair. One day at recess, when the leaves were starting to crunch under John's wheelchair, their classmate Timothy handed out invitations to all the boys in the class. Marcus opened the envelope for John so he could read it. "We should go," Marcus said. "I'm not sure." John looked down. "I can't feed myself." Marcus shook John's hand just like the first day they met. "If you don't go, who will make us all laugh until our sides hurt? Besides, I can feed you." Okay. The day of the party, when everyone was sitting down to eat, John said, "Hey, want to hear a pizza joke?" "Yeah!" everyone shouted. Never mind," John said. "It's too cheesy." Everybody laughed, and then Marcus held up a piece of pizza for John so he could take a bite. Every time John needed help eating, Marcus would feed him. One morning, a few days after winter break, John woke up and looked out his window. The hills around the town were covered with a fresh blanket of white. No school today? No school today! Within minutes, there was a knock at the door. John heard a familiar voice down the hall. Want to play in the snow? Marcus asked. Yeah, let's go sledding on the hill by the school, but it will be a while before my mom can get me ready. That's okay, Marcus said. I'll do it. Great. John nodded at the closet. My coat is the green one. Got it. Gloves? Check. Hat? Check. Okay, I think we're ready, John said. Hey, do you know what snowmen eat for breakfast? John asked as Marcus helped him into his wheelchair. I have no idea. Tell me. Frosted Flakes. Marcus was grinning as they left the house. The trek to the hill was slow but worth it. They spent the day zipping down on Marcus's sled and trudging up again until patches of grass dotted the white hill. Back at John's house, Marcus built a snowman in the front yard. What did one snowman say to the other snowman? John asked. Marcus smiled and shook his head. Tell me. John took a long sniff. Do you smell carrots? Marcus erupted in laughter. That's your best one yet. This is the best snow day yet, John said. Whenever John wanted to play in the snow, Marcus would dress him. One warm Saturday, the neighbor kids were outside playing baseball in the park. John kept the stats. When they took a break between innings, Ben announced, "Hey, we just got a new TV. Mom says we can have a movie night at my house." The boys buzzed with excitement. Ben had the best movie watching room in town, complete with beanbag chairs and a popcorn machine. John looked at Marcus. Are you going? Only if you go. But they have all those stairs, John said. I'll carry you, Marcus said. That night, all the neighborhood boys gathered at Ben's house, including John. They watched the movie, ate popcorn, and talked about the lineup of Red Sox pitchers for the season. Whenever Ben had a movie night, John would go, and Marcus would carry him. At the end of the school year, the class planned a field trip to explore the hills behind the school. They were going to look at the trees, search for animals, and hike the trails. They finished the day by roasting marshmallows over a fire while they watched the sun set on the horizon. John looked at Marcus. I really want to go. Marcus smiled and said, I'll push you. The day of the hike, a light rain was falling. The ground squished under Marcus's feet, and the wheels of John's wheelchair kept getting stuck in the mud. As Marcus cleared sticks and rocks from the path, a smile spread across John's face. "How can you tell that a tree is a dogwood?" "I have no clue," Marcus said. "By its bark." As they trudged beside a stream, the ground got even soggier. "You should keep going without me," John said. "Then you can keep up with the rest of the group." "Nah, we may be slow, but we're having more fun than everyone else." Several years later, the two boys hiked up the same hill behind the same school. They sat in the same spot and roasted marshmallows again, watching the same sun set behind the same horizon. Marcus put a marshmallow on his stick and inched it toward the fire. "Want one?" he asked. John nodded, but his mind was somewhere else. "Hey, Marcus, why are you friends with me? I'm so different from everyone else." Marcus shot him a sideways grin. "Yeah, I guess you're different. There's no one who can make me laugh like you do, or who has taught me more about math. There's no one I'd rather watch baseball with, or eat pizza with, or play in the snow with, or hike through the woods with. Should I keep going?" "I never thought about it that way," John said. "But what about all the things I can't do?" Marcus shrugged. "I guess there are some things you can't do, but that goes for me. That goes for me too. I can barely draw a stick figure. I can't remember the punchline to jokes. The only reason I passed math is because of your help. And I can't name half the roster for the Red Sox this year." "That's not what I'm talking about," John said. Yeah. "What do you mean?" Marcus asked. John turned to Marcus, and with a tear in his eye, he said, "When I couldn't feed myself, you fed me. When I needed help getting ready, you dressed me." Yeah. When I wanted to watch a movie with our friends, but couldn't get down the steps, you carried me. And when I wanted to explore the hills with the rest of the class, you pushed me. You've been my hands and my feet for most of my life. I wish I could do that for you." Yeah. A smile spread across Marcus's face. "You have done something even greater for me." "How?" John shot him a confused look. "When I fed you, you taught me how to take my time, how to be patient," Marcus said. "When I dressed you, you showed me how I can help other people. When I carried you, you made me stronger so I could keep carrying you as we got older. And when I pushed you, you showed me how much joy there is in giving everything for someone else. I may have fed you, dressed you, carried you, and pushed you, but you have shown me how to laugh and how to live." Marcus took a bite of his gooey marshmallow. That's why we have friends. That's why we're friends, right? We're stronger together than we are on our own. Yeah, but sometimes I wish we could switch places. I wish I could push you instead. You do, every single day. Marcus paused. I push you in your wheelchair, but you push me to be a better person. Marcus shook John's hand, just the way he had on the first day they met, and they ate another marshmallow. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. And then here's a quote from Mother Teresa. Spread love everywhere you go. Let no one ever come to you without leaving happier. And Romans chapter 12, verse 10, be devoted to one another in love. Honor one another above yourselves. Yeah. Yeah. All right, and that's it for the push. But yeah, that's such a heartwarming story. I love that. And I know when I read that, this is actually my first time reading this book. And man, it does strike a chord in me. And you know, it does make me think of my job. It also, you know, because my job helping people with disabilities, you know, there are people at my job who are in wheelchairs and can't do that kind of stuff themselves, who need help with that. And so, you know, I can definitely relate to that. And I'm so glad that I'm very thankful, because fortunately, I've never judged people like that, because, you know, with my autism, I needed extra help, especially in elementary school, because I had a lot of trouble. I remember I needed a lot of help with reading comprehension. Like, you know, with reading a book, I could never. I've told that before, and that's another reason why I started the Ryan's Day reading videos. But I know what it's like so I have an idea of what it's like to need extra help in something. And so, and it's given me early exposure to that, you know, not everybody is completely able-bodied, like, you know, like most people are. And so I've always been in the therapeutic world, as I've mentioned before, because that was something that was a lecture given to me at my work by one of our behavioral supervisor before he retired, about how there's two different worlds that we live in. That we live in either the regular world or the therapeutic world. And those in the regular world don't understand that there might be some deeper story behind somebody looking a bit, you know, somebody who might appear different from others. You know, somebody who might have a behavioral issue. You know, people in the regular world are very quick to judge and are probably thinking, you know, what's his or her problem? While those in the therapeutic world don't judge so quickly, and, you know, be like, you know, hey, no, don't judge too quickly. You know, there actually could be a deeper reasoning behind why somebody might be acting out. And it's not just, you know, with disabilities, it could also be with conditions like obesity, You know, just because somebody looks different in a way that sticks out doesn't mean they're bad. Doesn't mean something's wrong with them. Don't judge, you know, people in the regular world. Don't be judging the book by its cover. And I must say, because this is a story I can definitely relate to, because I think about how my job has also helped me. Me helping others, it has helped me in a way too. And you know, I want to spare more details, but also I was recently told by one of my coworkers how what my coworker recently told me that I have helped her to not overthink too much. I mean, I have tended to be a bit of an overthinker, but I'm trying not to think too much. Like, you know, you still need to think about stuff that you're going to do before you do it, but you don't want to take too much time to think. You want to think and do. You need to do a little bit more and not think all the time there, because, you know, just thinking is not the same as doing. So if you're just thinking about stuff, it's not going to happen. You're not actually going to get something done. So us staff at my job, you know, not just the participants that we help, but also each other. Hopefully we help have some sort of an impact on each other too. Because I like that everybody, it's helping on all ends there. Because I like how in this book, you know, how with, you know, Marcus helping John, Marcus is saying that John is also helping Marcus to be a better person, and how the things that it's taught Marcus by helping John. And I really love that part of the book. And that's honestly how I feel too. And I again think about all the connections I've made with participants at my work, with just, you know, people in general, not just participants and staff. So, you know, I think it also really teaches how powerful kindness can be. Just one little act of it can make someone's world change completely. So, and I feel like I am doing that, and I want to say that I am, and I'm not selling myself short or anything, but I don't want to, I mean to be humble about it. Because I know I've heard it from people, and, you know, they could say that about me, but something that I probably wouldn't say it myself. But I am deeply grateful for that. So, but all right, that's it for this Ryan Z reading, and then stay tuned for next time, because then I'll start the book I'll Push You. The story about Patrick and Justin's spectacular 500-mile journey through the Camino de Santiago. All right, thank you, Rappies, very much. Hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I hope this encourages you guys to be kind to people, be kind to everybody, whether they have a disability or not, in a wheelchair or not. Everybody deserves to be treated as people. Follow the golden rule. I shouldn't have to give a whole lecture, but I am willing to, though, because I want to do what I can there to help to get that message out there. So yeah, thank you, Rappies, very much again. Love you all to death. God bless, and I'll see you next time. All right, bye.